We're here at Salt Creek Canyon, where one of the most mysterious massacres in Utah's history took place. Now, only 4 people died. They were Danish immigrants trying to reach a settlement at the mouth of this valley, but nobody knows why they were killed or specifically who killed them. The unusual nature of it comes from they were pretty clearly killed by Native Americans, but this was outside of any period of tribal warfare. The Walker War had ended in 1854, and the Black Hawk War would not begin until 1865. So there's no real reason why they would be ambushed in this valley. This is my best take on the sequence of events and kind of where things happened during the massacre. Over here, about 20 yards beyond that new monument, is an old creek. And that creek would have been a sort of staging area where you would set up and start a campfire and in the early morning come through the valley to the town of Ephraim, just about a mile to the right. And over here is a hill, and I found a couple of pieces of evidence of old trail routes, you know, rust on the rocks. And they would have come up over here because the original route would have probably been up over this hill. You'd take your cart over it. This is the original monument. That's probably where the massacre site actually happened, or at least where one of the bodies was found. And this seems to be the old monument for the Salt Creek Canyon Massacre, but because it got weathered over time, the new monument is actually just right over here next to my car, right beside the road. And as the 2 men were killed in the cart and the cart began to burn, the woman was killed with a tomahawk to the back of her head, and it seems like another man ran up into this gully because that would have been the easiest place to run. And this is also a perfect ambush spot because you can see this hill right here would give perfect cover to a group of bandits or Native Americans or who knows, even Danites. And he would have run up through here knowing that there could have been more up over that hill, and he was killed by somebody most likely up on this ridge firing down on him. And as you look down here, this is one of the most fascinating things to see on these old trails. I'm not going to touch directly the rust marks, but if you were coming across in a hand cart or a wagon and an iron nail scraped against it, over the years it's going to turn to rust. And on these gravelly rock beds, you can find quite a few of these if you know where to look. And that is evidence itself of these pioneers trying to reach gold in California. In Manti, in the shadow of the temple, you actually have the graves of the family who died in the Salt Creek Canyon Massacre. And it took me a little while to find where these guys were buried, but this is actually a good distance away from where they were killed. And you can see there the epitaph, killed by Indians in Salt Creek Canyon, June 1st, 1857. And this would be their mass grave. And actually a couple of members of the family at a later point did come to Utah, where they were kind of adopted by the local community and were buried here as well.